Welcome to the beginning of my Erenshor quest guide. Starting with the tutorial island, we're going to 100% displace before we leave. This won't be meant for you to rush through the tutorial or the game. Take your time and have fun exploring and talking to all the NPCs. Most of them have something interesting to say or something that could point you in the right direction for a quest. Let's start. What do you think? Druid or Duelist? Duelist? Is that what you said? Alright. After you're done making a character, you'll start your adventure on Stowaway step. Right off the docks, after talking to the customs guard and getting the quest Stowaway's registration, take a right and go in the doors to talk to Windell and turn in your note. He'll give you the quest, head to the gate. On your way to the gate, you can pick up a side quest from Alice standing under a pavilion. We'll get to that in a minute. You can also grab your Aura gem from Amanda up the steps by right-clicking on her. At the gate, talk to Slate to get Keo's paper by telling him I'm registered. Then head over to the lighthouse on the east side of the docks. Kill the gator for Alice's necklace and talk to the lighthouse keeper to turn in Keo's paper and get your key. On the way back to the gate, you can turn in the necklace. From here, you're kinda on your own for a bit to explore. There's a shop up the road, and a bandit cave not far past that if you follow the dirt path. In the back of the cave is a name that drops a quest item you'll need later. Fight your way through and get you some experience. Following the road leads you to a small town where you can talk to Timothy about the island tomb. And Wally in the back of town for Wally's Moongill. The merchant behind him sells a fishing pole and pickaxe you'll need. Fish at night to catch the Moongill and turn it in to Wally. It took a couple in-game nights for me. Before we head to the tomb, just northeast of Wally's house is a statue near the mountain edge. Talk to Daggerhart and turn in your coin you got from the bandit named. Make sure you get the quest first before turning it in. I don't know if it bugs or not. Now we go to the tomb. Clear this place out. You'll need 2 halves of a key from 2 different named in here. Mourning has a broken key bow and Woe has the key blade for you. Also make sure you hold on to some ethereal. You'll need that later. I'd play around in here until around level 8 or until you think you're geared up enough to fight the island boss. There's plenty of upgrades and a good amount of named in here. Next up is the area boss. You'll want to be level 6 plus, and 6 is pushing it. I'm pretty sure I only got away with it here because the druid I found was decked out in gear you don't find on the island, so he ended up tanking it. Otherwise, around level 8 is when you can beat this guy. You want the mold it drops. Check the video description if you want to know the secret with the eye. Just west of this boss down a ramp is some undead and another quest from an NPC that only spawns at night at 11 PM. Read this one carefully. There's 2 ways to do this, and whatever you choose affects some quests later when you get off the island. Back in the tomb where you fight Woe is a hidden area behind this throne with 4 necros. You can talk to him and get a soul stone you turn into Aragath. Your reward is on the corpse. Or you can kill them like the quest NPC said to do and get the items to destroy the wisps. The first watchlight is sitting right outside the tomb. Jump down back to the docks through the gate and up the ramp to the second watchlight. The third watchlight is next to Plaxitheris. And the fourth is on top of the office building at the docks. Turn them in for your reward. Head over to the forge with a piece of coal, your mold, and the ingredients specified on the mold to make the key, then head back to the tomb and find the locked door. Beat his ass and take the note. Back outside the tomb, you need to find the two agents of the Wisp, standing next to a giant brazier with red smoke coming out of it. It's hard to miss. Give them the passcode and a note so you can get off the island. The last thing to do here is talk to a guy standing behind the office building at the docks and ask him what he wants. Give him one Seaspice and he gives you a letter to give to the NPC at the docks next to the ship. You can go back and kill him for an extra 7 to 9 experience on top of the 2% you get for the turn-ins. I suggest doing it with a group. Now we can leave. Go to the tiny island it tells you about and take the boat. That's it. Let me know if I missed anything. I've got another guide for you. Let's continue forward from the shores of Hidden Hills right after leaving Stowaway Steppe. Your first quest starts with a missing person at the 2 tents up ahead. After that, we follow the road up to the little village. Each class merchant should have a quest for that specific class. Paladin and Duelist both end up in the Bonepits, which we'll be going to in a minute. I don't know the Druid class quest here, but the Arcanist would need a bag of fairy dust from the zone over. You can do this now or after we get done with the Bonepits. For the Arcanist, head east into Faerie's Break, staying east-northeast. If you're patient, there's a name that spawns here. After you've got your bag, go turn it in. Talk to Samuel, the general merchant guy, for his quest. He'll give you a note we'll get to later. Before heading into the Bonepits, look around the area you're in for a little bit. There's a camp of bandits and some undead right next to each other, near the Duskenlight Coast zone line. There's a guy in Port Azure that'll want your wolf and bear meat, so try to save what you find. The dungeon is just north, pretty much right in front of the village. Head inside when you're done exploring and start clearing. You need a grave moss leaf if you're a paladin, that I've seen drop from the necros, and a horn from the avatars of Sivakaya if you're a duelist. The necros also drop an idol of Sivakaya you'll want to hold on to for crafting. At the bottom of this place is where you'll find a couple more bosses and avatars you need. You'll also run across this faded entry page, which will be used somewhat as a guide as we go through the game. Finish up in the dungeon and go turn in your class quest back in town. The last thing you can do before heading to Port Azir is pick up some pretty sweet swords for a druid to dual wield. Up in Duskenlight Coast off to the right, not far after you enter the zone, is this druid name that can be up waiting to give you their weapon. If it's not up, just kill the placeholder mob standing in your way and wait for the respawn. Rinse and repeat until you get the named, its swords, and whatever else it drops. Now we can make our way to Port Azir. Go back to Hidden Hills and go east into Faerie's Bank. Grab the quest at the first house on the left along the road as you run east to the port. Just up the road is the NPC you turn in 4 different map fragments to get a completed treasure map. Keep following the road east to get to the port. Once inside, the very first house on the left is Frederick. This is the guy that wants your meat, specifically your wolf and bear meat. Almost directly across from here, behind the Paladin building, is the NPC you talk to get back to Stowaway Step. Someone's already made a guide on that, so we won't go through it here. This next quest is for the Arcanist. If you take a sharp right from the entrance and go down the alleyway, you'll end up at a lighthouse. Talk to this merchant and grab what looks like a portal quest. Again, from the entrance, go straight up the stairs this time and through the archway on the left to find the captain for a couple more quests we won't be doing in this video, and you won't be doing until many levels later. I don't know what level Ripper is, and I don't know exactly what info this guy wants yet. Right below is the banker and a few vendors you should check out. The food merchant inside the inn sells Azure Mead you'll need 3 of later. I'd get them now and stick them in your bank until you reach Ripper's Keep. Everything is useful here, including the food. For Duelist, I've been using Seaspice as the extra food buff for the boss fights. However, the extra buff isn't something you'll need now, and it's pretty expensive just starting off, so you can skip it if you want. When it comes to the gear and weapons, you'll find better stuff almost immediately in the dungeons. But this will be a good starter set and you're not really wasting money. If you have Etheria, make sure you keep one on you for the next part we'll be doing. Oh, look at that. There's the banker. In the house next to the banker is a repeatable faction quest you can pick up. Rottenfoot Sashes. Rottenfoot Sashes, probably from undead dudes. Swamp up north, there's no... Alright. The last thing we'll do here is find Azure Arms in the south. Go upstairs and turn in Samuel's note. Now we go to Vithiel's Watch in the next dungeon. Go back through Faerie's Break and take the road west until it breaks off to the south. You should have your Etheria with you. Talk to the vendor and take the quest and give it to her. If you didn't have any, the giants down below have a small chance of dropping it. There's a few named here you can attempt to kill. If you can't kill them now, you will after you get out the dungeon we're heading to. Head over to the west side of the zone and start clearing Demolarai. Follow the road up to Krakengard. There's a name that spawns in a tent closest to the zone line. In Krakengard, we'll do the same thing here as we did in the Bonepits and clear everything. From the entrance, on the right is the bunker you need a key for. Straight ahead leads to the tower and downstairs. Left from the entrance is just another way to get downstairs where the first key and quest update will be. Save all the rubies you find, we're going to need those later for another quest. The brewer spawns in a back room with 4 groups of mobs. Kill her for the key, though she won't always drop it. Right around the corner from the brewer is a fake wall with a few mobs behind it and the quest turn in. The only thing left to do is grab the keys for the other quests we picked up in Faerie's Break. Once you get the bunk key, go use it on the door so you can collect another one for the quest. I don't know if you can have more than one on you. The tower key drops from Captain Sigrid up in the bunk, as well as page 2 of the Faded Entries. If you want, you can use the tower key to take out the big boss. You'll need to kill Sigrid again for another tower key afterwards. When you're done in there, go turn in your key quest in Faerie's Break, then go back to the port. You'll need a Sivakaya for this next part. If you don't have one, that's alright, because you most likely won't have the levels for it anyway. At the docks in the southern part of the port is another fake wall. Talk to the NPC behind it with your passphrase and head in. Talk to this NPC and give her a Sivakaya. She'll give you a key to the place in the back. We'll come back to this. The last thing we'll do is grab some Seaspice and the rubies you collected from Krakengard. From the banker, head back up the steps, through the archway, and over the rail right in front of you. Talk to this guy and hand in 1 ruby and 2 Seaspice. You can hand in twice for 2 swords. We'll stop here for now. This is already getting kinda long and there's a lot more to cover going forward. We're most likely going to Finala's Revival Plains and Underspine Hollow next. See you there. This is part 3 of the Quest Guide series. You should be around level 12 by now. Before we get going, make sure you're bound in Port Azure, and if you haven't already, go get a treasure map or 2 done for experience potions. We're heading back to Faerie's Break to pick up a note to Liam from this undead named guy that we're going to take over to Dusk and Light Coast before we go to the plains. The guy you need is up the road on the left. We'll work on the ritual he gives you later. Throw it in the bank for now. While you're here, the beach has blobs that drop some kind of ore I don't know what to do with yet, and all the way in the back of the zone, if you follow the road, you'll find a small village, a quest, and some Nagalok. Pick up the quest from this NPC. Not far from the village is a cave full of them you should check out before you leave. When you get to the plains, take the path that breaks off left from the main road. Dungeon? Yeah. Underspine Hollow. Clear this like you've done the others. Find and take out all unnamed, get some loot, get some levels, and look for the Ogre Spice. In the deepest part of this place, the regular mobs around the boss have a chance to drop a pendant of petrified wood for crafting. The big boss drops the faded entry page we want. Once you're done in here, don't forget your 4 Ogre Spice. Let's head to the port and pick up 3 Azure Mead and 1 Seaspice. Turn in your Ogre Spice on the way back to Fenala's Revival Plains. Back in the plains, take a right and hug the east wall. You'll find a hermit in a house. Grab his quest and let's head back to the road from here. There's a druid ring or whatever you want to call this place here along the road. Talk to the druid merchant for another quest. Keep heading north down the road. On the right you'll see Hayden standing next to a couple blue tents. Talk to him and the guy next to him. We'll be doing the supply quest in a minute. The NPC next to Hayden gives you a repeatable quest to collect druid beads. You can play around with the druids here if you want. Afterwards, we'll get back on the road north. There's a few spots I'll skip up ahead, but you should go talk to all the NPCs for the lore. Past that are bandits you need for the Hermit's quest. They'll be a little rough at 12, but you can get it done. Once you get the toolbox, go turn that into him, then get back on the road and keep following it long past the bandits. Past the house and on some rocks to the right is a big dude you can kill at around level 12. It'll be a decent challenge. Keeping on the road, you'll end up behind a Rottenfoot camp you can take out for sashes and whatever else. Not far north of that is a zone line to Rottenfoot Swamp. This is a nice place to level with the amount of easy to kill crocs and nettle around, and there's poachers northwest of where that little house is near the zone line that want croctails. North past that, along the wall, you'll get out into some shallow water with a couple camps and a named or two. Go west. The zone line's around the west corner. You'll want to try to avoid the wildlife getting to town here. After that, it's an easy run to Ripper's Keep. We'll pick up a few quests along the way, starting here with this. Let's help him find his engagement ring off some risen pilgrims. If you don't find the ring on the way up to Ripper's Keep, we'll find it later when we play around in this zone. Keep on the road north until it splits, then head west over the small bridge. Kill all the risen pilgrims you see. If you find the ring, go turn it in. Climb the stone steps at the end of the path and zone over. If you want to live, stay on the road here all the way to town. Talk to all the NPCs, grab the quests, get you some spells you may need, and let's get to Ripper's Keep. Make sure you leave town from the northwest and not the southwest. The village outside the keep has an auction and banker. I wouldn't bind here. Up the road is the quest turn in for Hayden. Inside on the left, get this NPC's quest and give him your mead and Seaspice. Then go all the way upstairs and talk to Ripper to get her quests. The fastest way back to town is to find a guard to attack after you leave your group. Back in the port, turn in the note the hermit gave you to this guy. Back in the plains, turn in a receipt to Hayden. When you're done exploring, head back to the port. Outside to the north is some tents with an NPC and a quest. Pick that up and head inside to the Lost Cellar. You'll want to be 14 plus for this place and 17 plus if you want to clear to the back. If you go straight from the entrance, there's lots of beetles with a couple named you should be able to handle at 14. The undead after the name spider is hard to pull at 14-15, and I don't suggest trying to go down that way. To get the quest item you need, you'll want to take the left tunnel at the entrance and fight your way down there. This spot here is good to pull everything from the top of the ramp to a good portion of the back with the max pull distance set to around 100. Tortured prisoner can be pulled from this spot and taken out at 14, which is who you'll need for the quest item for the guy outside. Spectral torture can also be pulled from here, but he's always a triple pull. 16-17 is when you should be able to take them out. You may wipe a few times trying. Crowd control needs to be quick, or you can pull with CC. You can stay here and level for a little while if you want, especially if your goal is to clear the dungeon like we've been doing. After you're done in there, don't forget to turn in to the NPC outside. You know where we're going next. See you there. Welcome to part 4. You want to be 15 plus. Let's get into it. Talk to Supply Sergeant Tip right before the zone line to Black Salt Strand. Grab the quest and let's go. There's a couple quests that I know of here we'll get to later. This place is like level 12 to 18. The road from Port Azure leads you right into the Elderstone Mines. Make sure you talk to all the NPCs on the way up and in. Inside, hit up the first NPC on the right not far after entering the cave. You'll need to kill the blobs for her shovel. You may be here for a while looking for it. Best place to farm for it is next to the blob boss deep in the left side of the dungeon to the north. It's a big blue area hard to miss. Around level 18 is when you should be able to kill the boss. It drops ancient coal we'll need later. Back at the entrance, after you're done turning in your quest, if you go right at the bottom of the ramp and head east, there's a named in the back that drops the next faded entry page. To the west are spiders. The name drops a dagger used in crafting. The only thing you probably won't have is the Sivakayan Ore we'll find later on. When you're done in the mine, back in Black Salt Strand, if you get back on the road north, you'll find the zone line to the Braxonian Desert we'll get to in a minute. South sends you to a house on the shore. There's a note in there we want from some skellies around level 17. Not far west up a hill is a windmill and another NPC with a repeatable quest for gloves. You'll need 5 Nagalok claws. The camp next door was given a claw about once every clear. There's some down on the shore to kill, as well as a camp of sea fiends that drop a whisper of the sea for crafting. In the desert, from the Black Salt Strand zone line, going northeast sends you to a camp with a name that drops a Tempest Stone and a page that gives you a quest for the stone. You can also get the quest from a lost poem. Taking the road west leads you to the only other quest I know of here. Don't forget to mine for citron sand silver. Further down the road is a spell vendor in the zone line to Silken Grass Meadowlands. Back up the hill around the camp of Braxton is some kind of chest-like game tucked into the mountain. The 2 NPCs at the tent give you some hints. My first assumption was chess. I found an item later that mentioned something about an age-old game. If you show up with nothing, you'll get a message in your chat. The pieces are collected from killing random things in the zone. I don't know how many there are. You can also buy one in a port for 135,000 gold at this vendor here. They're consumed as soon as you enter the arena. There's a good amount of camps to check out and interesting things to loot that seem to piece the story together. Take your time and look around. Kill everything. Check out all the corners and of course talk to all the NPCs you find. There's a lot of lore pages to collect here, and I think this Scorched Skeleton is where I found this teleport rune, but after a couple hours or so of searching for another, I couldn't get it to drop from anything in the desert. Maybe because I already had one on me? Over in Silken Grass Meadowlands, head west and keep killing the Risen Pilgrims up the path if you haven't found the engagement ring from the last guide yet. Stay on the road and you'll pull up on a pavilion to the right. I'm pretty sure this is just a repeatable faction quest. Sivakayan are all over the place, but there's a camp of them up here. You can start killing them around level 17, but it'll be slow. Level 20 is my recommendation. They drop some nice tank gear and the ore you need for multiple things, including the quest for tip. The weapons are rarer than the ore and gear. You'll probably end up with 6 to 8 ore before finding the first weapon, and you may not even want to turn it in because it'll be an upgrade. Along the south wall right next to this camp is a group of green tents with a quest NPC. It's an easy turn in Port Azure. You gain faction with Ripper. I don't think this messes with your port faction since you don't get a negative hit according to the chat. From here, following the wall east gets you to some shadow men. Going back west along the wall sends you to Windwashed Pass. On the right, heading north, is Rockshade Hold. You'll want to be 22 to 24 plus. Clear it out like we've done all the other dungeons. I'm not aware of any quest or quest items in here. You'll find some lore, including the faded entry page. In the back are these ruby and sapphire fiends that drop living chunks of themselves you use in crafting. They don't drop all the time though. Outside the hold, the only thing I've found to note are these ancient golem stones you get off the ancient guardians. But that doesn't mean there's nothing else out there. You'll be in these areas for a little while, so there's no need to rush. If you go northwest from Rockshade Hold and around the corner, you'll end up in Malarath's nesting grounds. There's no quest that I know of, but there's some NPCs to talk to, like this one that spawns at night, and I'm not sure what to do with yet. There's also Name to kill, and this is where I got my pristine spider carapace, although Ripper's Keep is probably the best place to get one of those. By now you should have everything you need for the Dusk and Light ritual. I'm not sure what level this place is. They con green at 18 or 19. The compass you get out of there goes to this guy in Port Azure. This one's 22 plus. The Brazier's northwest of Faerie's break zone line, right next to the Ogres. Next up is Looming Wood. You should be able to do the ritual components quest around level 20. The pink feather will drop off the chicks or matrons. I don't know if one type has a higher chance to drop it or not. I got one off the chicks. The thorn drops off of Devoratrix. Get the intact fairy wing from the auction. Vithio's Rest is the only other place I know you can play around in at 20 plus. There is a quest in here, but you most likely won't find it till 24 plus, which will be in the next guide. Don't forget to turn your Sivakayan Ore into tip. That's it for now. Let me know if there's something I missed or if you found something I didn't. See you in the next one. Part 5. If you're new here, welcome. For those of you who've been following along, by now you should be around 24 plus. We'll start in Rottenfoot Swamp to get marching orders off the Sivakayans here. There's a camp near the Meadow Zone line. Instead of going west near the Nipper camp, go east. Grab the orders from the named. You can turn this in now to the captain. It gives you Port Azure faction. The Mather's note we picked up back in Black Salt Strand last guide said to find someone named Yaren in Good Soil. Well, we know where Good Soil is. Or was. If you talk to the NPCs in the plains near the burnt down village of Good Soil about Yaren, they send you to another little village directly east in the Restful Valley. Eventually one of the NPCs will tell you where and when to find them. Over on the beach of Vithio's Watch you'll find them near Krakengard, only up at night. Turn in a note and let's get to Black Salt Strand. Up on the east wall, not far past the graveyard, is some trees and bushes you can run behind to get to a crack in the wall. There's 4 pages here. You'll most likely outlevel everything here, and it shouldn't take you long to get all 4 pages. The 4th is behind a movable wall. If you have your Sims pulling, they'll pull through the wall so it's not really hidden. Just click it to open it. Get the pages back to Yaren. He wants more pages we'll get to later. Close to the Abyssal Lake entrance in Ripper's Keep is a Sivakayan spy master named you want to kill for the intel you need for both Ripper and for Port Azure. You can get 2 pages and turn them into both of them. The last place to check out before the lake is Selûne's Landing. Everything here is 20 to 22 plus. From the Looming Wood entrance, if you go north and look along the east wall, you'll find a well-hidden opening near the giants. Go up inside and kill the named in there. Take the journal entry you find west of Valal the Holy. The only other thing I found to note so far is the lost faith dropped by these ancient corpses. There's also a village with some NPCs near the shore you could talk to. Next up, Abyssal Lake. One of the entrances is behind the waterfall in the meadow. You can start in here at 24, but you really want to be 26 plus, and you're probably not going to kill the last boss until 28 plus, though you won't need it for the quests. One of the 3 pieces we need for the hollow candle drops here off one of the Dark Wardens, as well as a Sivakayan journal in the last faded entry page. You turn the journal into the captain in Port Azure. The Western Seacoast. Remember that lost soul in Malarath's nesting grounds? Give him the 7 faded entry pages we've been collecting throughout the series. There was a lady I found a long time ago in a house upstairs in Port Azure that was talking about her husband that didn't return from his expedition, but I couldn't get anything else out of her. This is the only person I can think of when he mentions his wife. Give her the pen and she'll give you a journal. Next up is Fallen Braxonia. Grab the Tempest ring we made in the last guide and go to the northern part of the desert. Use the ring to get rid of the flame and kill the named for the Brashell and the key to the doors behind her. Inside you'll find some lore and crafting materials you'll need later. You'll also get new chess pieces you can go play with in the desert. In the lower back of this place is the pin we want for the Dusk and Light School. Braxonia Ore is also found here. In the deepest part of this are planar guards that drop portal shards I don't know what to do with yet. They're guarding some elemental energy that I also don't know what to do with yet. In another part of this place is a flame well. We'll come back to this in a minute. After you're done in there, go turn the Brashell quest in, then we're headed to the Blight. In the Blight, you're looking for a Blightwood slab and Blight crystals for a ritual we'll get to later. There's also a piece of paper you should have gotten in Rockshade you can turn in here. He's somewhere to the east. Don't forget to give him a stone out of the bag. Take those stones back to Fallen Braxonia with a Sivacrux to upgrade your gear. It took me a minute to figure out exactly what the page was saying. I thought it was telling me to put 3 of each, but that wasn't it. I had to reread the page. It mentions a tool, so I tried that before realizing what it did. But it didn't always work. I thought maybe the page was telling me it could only be done 3 times a day, so I waited a day and tried again. At first it worked, but then it failed again even before the 3rd time. So I thought maybe it's the order I'm putting them in. Nope. Sivacrux plus stone plus item worked, but doing the same order a 2nd time didn't. It's a random chance to fail and it takes your Sivacrux either way. After using up all my Sivacrux, I looked it up on their wiki to find out you can put up to 3 of each plus your item for a 100% chance. Back in Port Azure, grab the strange figurine mold with the ingredients you should have by now and make it at the forge. Then we're off to the desert to play chess. Collect the hint in the mold for the next candle piece. Now over in Dusk and Light at the school with the pin you got out of Fallen Braxonia equipped, you can go in and talk to the headmaster. Just answer the questions she asks and she'll give you a stone. You gotta be specific. Also, while you're here, if you don't have any Duskin Giant's blood yet, kill the bears and the Dryad around the well to get the giant to spawn. Keep the essence of nature you find off the ghosts as well. West from the portal in Ripper's Keep, take the Unborn Phobia you got from the Fernala ritual with the items at once over to the Brazier. Retrieve the Nightmare Crystal from inside, then let's go get a branch. In Looming Wood from the Meadows Zone line, go north and take out the Gardener of Looming Wood. We'll need the branch for the next part. Stop by the village to turn in your lost stone. This took a while to find. I had an idea of who the quest was talking about, but I couldn't remember where. He'll give you back the stone and tells you to go to Stowaway's step. The NPC behind the Paladin building has the quest to get back to the island. Turn in the Angler's Ring to her and get on the boat. Hand the stone over to Lucian to get the next quest, completing the ritual. Before heading to Vithio's Rest, we need a few things. There's 2 braziers with 2 recipe pages. By this point, if you've been following the guide from the start, you should have all the ingredients needed for both braziers. Fight your way in, find the braziers, and place the items needed inside. I don't think you need the pages. I'm pretty sure that's just for the recipe. This will open up the middle door in the beginning of this place. You should be able to take out the apparition of Vithio around 31. He dropped some nice loot in a rune I don't know what to do with yet. Next up is Praelian Cascade off of Windwashed Pass, directly west from the Meadows Zone line. There's a baking oven and a house, and the only obvious thing to throw in there are the fish like the Octorunner you can find here off the mobs. You can also fish it up in places like the Dusk and Light coast. The mobs drop a page that explains what to do here. There's a hidden quest if you follow the instructions. Hopefully you've done a little bit of fishing beforehand. I didn't. Meat can also be found here if you're lacking. Kill the last boss for a book with some more info about the Maloroth feed. I won't spoil that little bit for you. You use the feed in Maloroth's nesting grounds. Run on a platform and the feed should disappear with the boss fight. Azinthi's Garden is up next. You should have gotten a boat pass from Abyssal Lake. Run south-southeast in the Blight until you find a coast. There should be a dock along it. Give the pass to the NPC. Inside you find a hermit that doesn't say much, near a well you should bind at and a watchlight in a house behind him. The only things they go off of are the scriptures you find, and after spending hours here searching, as well as getting destroyed by the boss a couple times, I didn't figure anything out, so I decided I just needed to be 35 to do this place, and I started grinding treasure maps. Then I saw something on Discord about it. I couldn't help but ask. Even a flicker of souls doesn't tell you much. Apparently in the scriptures you find here, scripture 1 mentions people shouting Umbrum, which I guess I should have taken the quotations as a clue. You tell this to the hermit to get a riftstone. The riftstone sends you to a darker, harder version of this place. You need to find 4 rift snare gems that drop off the named. You should collect as many as you can. They don't need to be collected from each named either. If you wanted, you could stay in the graveyard and farm that boss for the gems. I wouldn't recommend it. Each gem gets handed to each of the 4 flickers on the other side. Make sure to kill each of them. This is not how you're supposed to get to the maze flicker, but it works. The last flicker is tricky. I wasn't aware you can use the riftstone anywhere in the zone for a while. The key to the boss drops from an elder mistress. After taking out the 4 flickers, you should be able to kill the boss around 31 plus. You need the Scully drops. Then back to Port Azure, or wherever a forge is to make the wax for this candle. A mixture of giant's blood and a fang you find in Azinthi's garden. Before we get to the next dungeon, if you have the gold, try out the Monarch of Flame. It drops a black flame, which sounds cool. A planar stone. This is the only place I've found one so far. Experience and a lot of other loot with a few upgrades. Turn your 3 candle pieces into this guy. Bring the product to the Broxonium flame well to light it. Then off to Dusk'nlight Coast to get into Jaws of Sivakaya. Welcome to the endgame. Inside, a memory of Sivakaya will appear to guide you through the next part. I'll let her take it from here. One last thing. The last 4 pages for Yaren are all in here. The further you get, the more pages you'll find. Have fun.